Hey guys, today I'll be reviewing Disobedience by Naomi Alderman. I went to Pride yesterday, the Pride in London, and so I wanted to read a book this week that kind of tied in with the whole celebration of LGBT+. So this book's about two women, Ronit and Esty, who are both from a Orthodox Jewish community in Hendon, which is in North London. Basically they were childhood sweethearts, but once Ronit got past university age, she moved to New York and broke away from the Orthodox kind of community that she had been brought up in, and so these two were separated. Obviously the Orthodox community did not approve of their relationship. It was kind of rumoured, people didn't know about it officially, but that is what led to Ronnie leaving, because she didn't want to be in a community that was so restrictive on who she was. In the meantime, Esty married Ronit's cousin, David, who was a rabbi but not a particularly high up rabbi. So the book starts off with the death of Ronit's father, who was a respected rabbi in the community, and so he is known as a Rav. So he died of very old age, and so Ronit comes back for the kind of funeral / grieving period during the Jewish community, which lasts a month, I believe. Ronit then discovers that Esty has married her cousin David, which obviously confuses her, as she thought that Esty was a lesbian. But that's not all Ronit struggles with when she makes it home back to London, because there is a massive clash between her and the culture she has left behind. She has gone out of her way to be particularly rebellious against her past, and so that really kind of creates friction with the people in the community who haven't seen her in 8-10 years. Early on in the book we find that Ronit has been having an affair with her boss, who has a wife and children. It seems like they've been having a relationship kind of affair, and then they broke up, and then since then they've been off and on again. This really ties into the theme of not everyone's perfect. So even though Ronit may seem like a good lady, she is capable of doing bad things that hurt other people. And this is an overarching theme throughout the whole book, that not everyone is perfect. For example, the Rav, someone who is thought to be all loving, has pushed his daughter away to the point where she goes to another continent to get away from him. And all the women in the community, who are not meant to judge or cast judgment onto other people, that's what they do all day. They sit around and gossip and judge each other. So yes, that is a very important theme of this book, that no one is perfect, everyone has their flaws. We also find out that the relationship between Esty and David is far from perfect. So it's more of a Esty clearly married him because it's more of a convenience thing. Their relationship seems to be more like a friendship than a romance. I did want to talk about the structure of this book because I find it really interesting. So the chapters are split in half almost, and one side is from Esty's perspective and the other side is from Ronit's perspective. And this really shows the differences between someone who's still not trapped inside the community but is restricted to the community, and someone who has left it and been able to lead the life she did. So having those two contrasting perspectives in each chapter really shows the differences between the life in New York and the life in, Orthodox Hendon, London. So it was a really good way to structure the book. It provided a lot of insight. Another amazing thing about the structure is that at the beginning of each chapter there is a verse almost from certain parts of the Torah or other Jewish religious books. And then after this verse there is a brief kind of philosophical description about it, which ties into the little verse that is used obviously ties into what is going to be dealt with in the next chapter, but it also ties in with the job of a Rav. So Rav, as I've already said, is a respected rabbi, but this Rav in particular wrote a lot of philosophical debates and arguments on the Torah itself, and so having that philosophical section after each verse before the beginning of the chapter really starts really kind of brings you into the sense of what that Rav's job was and what he spent his life doing. So I'm going to read you one of the smaller ones, just so you can get a sense of kind of what I'm saying. So, God instructed the moon to make itself new each month. It is a crown of splendour for those who are born from the womb, because they are also destined to be renewed like her. And then it says this is from the Kaddish Levana, recited every month after the third day of the lunar cycle and before the moon. And then it will go on to have a description. So it says, what is the shape of time? And then tries to explain that. So on top of this, at the back of the book, they have various different Jewish recipes, which is, I think, a really nice feature to add to it. So I'm sorry if I pronounce any of these wrong. So there's like gel-filite fish, carrot tagines, stuffed roast pigeons with chicken liver stuffing, shallot. So I think that was a really nice extra to kind of add. It makes it feel more homely in a way. So to conclude, I really enjoyed this book. I think it's a great LGBT plus book that also helps from an outsider who doesn't know much about the Jewish faith, it helps kind of explain some traditions and the lifestyle that some Orthodox Jews live. Obviously it's more complicated than what this book can describe, but it does give a basic kind of insight into day-to-day life that a lot of Jews experience. So I really enjoyed this book. I think you should pick it up, and out of 10 I'd give it a 7.5. Thanks for listening. I hope you read this. If you have read it, let me know what you thought in the comments below.